Listening to Trifecta Sports Talk. My name is Tanner Bill. I'm the host of Trifecta Sports Talk. Justin is joining us today. What's up, Justin?
What's up?
This podcast episode is sponsored by Spretzabox. Spretzabox is the accessory subscription service. For $28 a month, you get $100 worth of merchandise sent right to your door. So if it's for March, you get spring colors, you get nice, bright, colorful products, and it's a way to step up your game and elevate for success. Check out Spretzabox. Use a promo code Rebello10. That is Rebello10, and you get 10% off anything in their store. It's really a great deal. I'm a personal user of it. Spretzabox is a way to go if you're looking to step up your game and get out and meet the ladies. So we're going to talk about the Boston Bruins today. This has been a topic I talked about on my podcast. But Justin, what is your thoughts about the Boston Bruins? They're on a little hot streak right now. They beat the Calgary Flames last night. They beat the Vancouver Canucks on Monday. So what's your feeling this week about the Boston Bruins?
Well, the main thing is Bruce Cassidy taking over as head coach a coincidence that the Bruins are playing better, or is it just that he's that good of a coach? I don't know. I think it's a little too early to tell, but they have been playing a lot better. Seems like a lot of the players have a lot more chemistry since Claude left. I don't know if it's just from the amount of time them playing together, because I know Claude towards the end kept moving around the lines and everything like that. Under Cassidy, kind of sticking with the same, at least top six usually, except for a Spooner out, a little bit of it moved around. But, I mean, they're real hot. Marchand's is now the best in the league in goals. You can actually say that now. He's up for the Rocket Richard Trophy. I think he's either tied for second or he's first in points as well. I can't remember. I have to look that up. So, I mean,
for points, he's tied with Connor McDavid for points.
Okay. And then Pasternak just scored his 30th of the season last night. I think he had 2 goals last night. And so that'll be his first 30-goal career. I mean, he's only been in the league for 3 years, but the previous couple of years have been cut short due to injury. This year he was out for about a week. So I mean, if that week or two that he wasn't out, he may be up there with Marchand for the leading goal scorer in the league. And off of that, goals in the league overall are down because, I mean, Marchand to have 37 goals at this time of the year is not very much. There's usually guys that are almost at 60 by now. Like I know a few years ago, Stamkos almost hit 60. That was like the big thing. Ovechkin's usually up there, 45, 50. Sagan, I mean, the list goes on, but I don't know why scoring's down.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing. That's one of the things that the league's actually trying to change up, is getting their scoring back up. But I think realistically, like, I've been impressed with this team ever since they fired Claude Julien. They're winning games that they should be winning. They're losing games that you can expect them to lose. They fired Claude Julien on February 7th, and since then, they've been a very good hockey team. Bruce Cassidy won his first 4 games. He had San Jose, Vancouver, Montreal, and then he had San Jose on the road. His first loss was Wednesday, February 22nd against the Anaheim Ducks. That was a very good Ducks team. It is a good Ducks team. They lost 5-3, so they were competitive out there in Anaheim. And after that, they didn't lose until that New York Rangers game. That's another team that is a good hockey team, and you could see the Bruins losing to the next loss, and that was the 3rd loss for Bruce Cassidy. And that's the latest loss. That was against the Ottawa Senators on March 6th. That was last week, 4-2. Ottawa's had their number all season long, and that's what you concern yourself about at this moment, I think, is the Ottawa Senators. If the playoffs started today, right now, the Ottawa Senators and Boston Bruins would play each other. Ottawa is in 2nd place in the Atlantic. Bruins are in 3rd. Ottawa has 85 points. Bruins have 82. So far, the Senators lead 2-0 in the season series. That first game was actually the season opener in Ottawa. Bruins lost 3-1. Then Bruins lost March 6th last week, 4-2. So they have 2 more games against Ottawa, the chance to even up the series. They have one March 21st and April 6th. these games are going to be pivotal for the Boston Bruins. And I think their whole season hinges on these games right here in Ottawa. They're at home for this, but that's going to be a really big deal for the Boston Bruins. And Justin, do you think that if they lose one of these games against Ottawa, considering they're probably going to face them in a series, would that lose their confidence in terms of playing them in the playoffs?
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, it's getting almost where you can say playoff hockey tempo. But I mean, there's just a different mindset once the players get in the playoffs. I know they're probably the season record against the other teams probably in the back of their head, but I mean, we've seen it before. You know, the playoffs come around, all of a sudden the team is 100% better or 100% worse. I mean, it's just whether or not they can get their crap together. But I think they should be able to beat the Senators. The past few seasons, it's usually come down to Bruins Senators for the playoffs. Bruins haven't really come on top in the past couple seasons, but
I mean, everybody remembers last year, last game of the regular season, Bruins win, they make the playoff, Bruins lose, they miss the playoffs. Bruins came out, puked on their own ice, they lost the game, and the Bruins missed the playoffs last season in the last game of the season against Ottawa. They've had their number, and this is going to be, I think, the most important games for them, because if you look at their schedule, the Bruins have 12 games remaining. The Ottawa Senators have 14 games remaining. The Bruins play the Edmonton Oilers. If you watch this past Thursday, you'll know whether or not they won that game. But that's a very winnable game for them. Then they got Toronto. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, but Toronto, they should beat Toronto on March 20th. Then they got Ottawa. That's a game I think they could win, but they need to win. But I think they could lose that game. Then they got Tampa Bay. They should beat Tampa. They should beat the Islanders. They should beat Nashville. They should beat Dallas. They should beat Florida. So now I'm at April 2nd. It's Chicago Blackhawks. That's a game they will probably lose, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got Tampa April 4th. That's a game they should win. Then you got Ottawa again on the 6th. They should win that too. It's going to be, those Ottawa games are going to be tough. But then you got the Washington Capitals on April 8th. And the Capitals probably won't be playing for anything at that point. So that's probably going to be a winnable game too to finish out your season. So if you really look at this, the Bruins, the only unwinnable game, I think, is the Blackhawks game. And then you have the two Senator games up in the air. Other than that, they should pretty much clean the sweep here.
Yeah, probably. The Senators probably are a little scary just because they have the Bruins number. But, I mean, other than that, they're definitely a winnable game. I mean, the Senators aren't much better than the Bruins on paper or even statistically this season. As we can see, the Senators are only 2 or 3 points ahead, and they've basically been that way all season. It's been back and forth all season. Like you said, the Blackhawks game, I don't have very high expectations for that. I mean, the Blackhawks, they're almost the Patriots of hockey. They're somehow good every year. They lose 3 or 4 guys, and then they have these kids in the system that come up and just are flawless and just fit right in the system. But luckily for the Bruins, maybe in the next couple of seasons, they're young kids. Maybe the Bruins can turn into Blackhawks and have all the young kids just come in and be awesome, and then win 2 or 3 cups in 4 or 5 years. That's what the Hawks did it.
See, I think the Bruins could actually track down the Senators here. The Senators have 14 games left. But they have Chicago tonight. That's a game they're probably going to lose. They have Montreal 3 more times. Those are going to be tough games. They have Minnesota once. Minnesota's good this year. They have Pittsburgh. That's a good team. They got the Rangers. The only winnable games I think for them would be they're playing Winnipeg once, and they're playing Detroit twice, and then they have the Islanders. So if you look at the the Ottawa Senators schedule here from out, I think they have a tougher set than the Bruins. Granted, they played 2 more games, but I think the Bruins have the opportunity to catch the Ottawa Senators in the standing. I think the only issue is going to be, even if you surpass them, I think the only thing is you get home ice advantage or something like that. It's not even, you're still going to play the team if they're in 3rd. The only way you don't play the Ottawa Senators is somehow one of you flips out of that 2nd or 3rd spot and maybe drops or something like that. But I mean, that's a tough matchup for them, I don't know if they can beat him in a playoff series, but I don't know if Bruce Cassidy is real enough, It's tough to tell at this point with the Bruins what they really are. I'm hoping there's something like they're playing like Matt Bolesky. I forgot he was on the team until last night. But I saw he actually had a hat. Have you seen his hat? Matt Pileski has a hat that says "Make hockey violent again," or make like something like that. It's like the Donald Trump thing, like "Make hockey like violent again" or something like that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I think the team's in a good position now. I think they fired Claude a little bit too late. I think if they made this change before the new year, they would have been in a much better position now. Maybe we're talking about, maybe hitting Montreal, I think that would have been a better position. I mean, I was calling for Claude to be dismissed way before. I thought when they brought Cassidy up to be the assistant coach, I kind of felt like they were going to go his direction eventually. And I thought it should have been sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, they're playing like a different team. Under Claude, there would be games where you'd be playing one of the worst teams in the league, and you'd question whether or not the team's going to show up or not, or whether or not they're going to win. And then it'd be games where, like, they shouldn't win, like against really top competition, teams like Pittsburgh, and they'd go out and play well. And that was under Claude. But under Cassidy, they're more predictable, and inevitably, I think they're in a better position to win a playoff series even. I think they could do that. And that's, for us, that's great,
Definitely.
So before we finish up here on Trifecta Sports Talk about the New England Patriots and Malcolm Butler and what's going on with that guy. It has really been insane, that situation. He met with the New Orleans Saints twice, actually. He met with them on Wednesday, and then he met again with them on Thursday. And Malcolm Butler is rumored to basically be going at this point to the New Orleans Saints. At this point, I think it's just odd. You have this guy under contract. You can bring him back for a couple $1 million, and you've got it to the point where the guy doesn't want to be here anymore after winning 2 Super Bowl trophies, and you signing him as an undrafted free agent. To me, that's insane. He's one of the top cornerbacks in football. He's at the point where you've treated him like shit almost. I mean, they signed Stephon Gilmore for $40 million guaranteed, and they told Malcolm Butler last offseason that they would never pay a cornerback that kind of money. They brought someone in off the street and paid him a ton of money. And if I'm Malcolm Butler, I don't want to play here either. And I think that's a shame. And I think instances like this, you can look at Bill Belichick and his system and be like, that wasn't the right way to handle it. They did it with Welker back when Welker decided to go to Denver instead of staying here because the way he was treated at the end. I know a lot of Patriots fans say that, they wouldn't pay what the money that Denver gave Welker, but they actually offered Welker more money because they wanted to save face. At this point, I think it's stupid to just say we have Stephon Gilmore and we shouldn't have Malcolm Butler. I'd rather have both. What do you feel about that, Justin? Would you like to them to pay Malcolm Butler or just let him go?
I was listening to both 98.5 and EEI on the way home from work today, and both of them were both stations were pretty much saying that they want to see Gilmore and Butler almost both same team. I agreed with them on that, and then they started getting into more of the money stuff and said that one of the big reasons why Butler isn't getting as much from the Patriots is because he's got that restricted free agent tag on him. Gilmore was unrestricted, and I was kind of half following, but I guess I don't know. There's money problems, money this. I guess in order to get Gilmore to come, you got to give him more money because he can go anywhere or something like that. And then I heard they offered Butler like a couple of years and like met in the middle of what they wanted to give him what he wanted. I think it was like $6 million now, and then like later in the season, or not later in the season, but in the next couple of years, he got paid less but more now. And I think they said Gronk did something like that with his contract a few years ago.
Yeah, Gronk's contract is pretty backloaded.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Patriots definitely tried their best, I think, to try to remedy the situation. I think early on, kind of treated them like shit, kind of what the Red Sox did to John Lester that made John Lester go. I think they kind of overplayed their hand in that sense. With Butler, it's the restricted. You're right. The restricted free agent tag, the tender that's on him, the fact that he can't go anywhere is what's restricting him, and how much he can get paid. And it stinks, and that's why Gilmore got a lot more money. And it makes sense when you think about it. But they could have gave him the money, and the fact that they didn't, it's kind of irritating to me. I mean, granted, yeah, $6 million is not bad, but backloaded. He's worth more than that, though. He's 27 years old. He needs to get paid now because in this league, you don't know how long you have being an elite player. He needs to get paid, and that's just the way it works. You look at Rob Gronkowski's contract. If they did a similar thing, Gronk got paid $2.25 million last year, but that was kind of a weird year for him. But he goes up to 4.25 in 2017, then he goes to 8, then he goes to $9 million. So it would have been cool to have a backloaded contract with Malcolm Butler. They do like to do that kind of stuff. But the way the Patriots work out those backloaded contracts is they always renegotiate when it comes to that year. They did the same thing with Danny Amendola. They gave Danny like $6 million per year now, but they negotiated down like 1.5 after the fact. They're always kind of changing those kind of things, putting them into signing bonuses, converting them. So you can like fiddle with that all the time. The fact is Malcolm Butler wanted to be treated as a UFA. He wanted to get paid more than $10 million per year. And the Patriots didn't want to do that. And that's as simple as that. And it makes sense from a business. I mean, that's what football is. It's a business. But they're playing some top quarterbacks next season. I think I've said it before. They're playing like Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Tony Romo probably they're going to play. They're playing Cam Newton. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're playing better players than they did last year in terms of quarterbacking. It's kind of like the season where they got Brandon Browner and they got Darrelle Revis. They were loading up at cornerback position. They lost Logan Ryan already. They lose Malcolm Butler. I am not about to be happy about Eric Rowe being out there at the cornerback position. That's not something I'm looking forward to. And I don't think, Stephon Gilmore, 5 years in the league, 5 different coordinators for the Buffalo Bills. Maybe he can play better, but I think Malcolm Butler is a better quarterback. And I hope they can keep him on the team. It's simple as that. Thanks for listening for Trifecta Sports Talk. That was a quicker podcast, but, it's a Thursday night. March Madness is going on. How's your bracket look, Justin?
I haven't checked.
It's not busted yet?
I think I picked Northwestern in my – I always make an underdog bracket, so I probably picked Northwestern because they were – I don't know. I probably have them picked on one of the 3. So
it's been interesting. I mean, I don't know. I gamble on some of these games, and it's been pretty interesting. Like some of the spreads, like there was like a 26-point spread on the with the Mount St. Mary's Villanova game. And Villanova's pulling away now, but it was a pretty close game. I think Purdue is close right now. Like this is like one of the more interesting times of the year to look at like gambling statistics. But I got 93%. It's 93% of the picks have been favorites so far.
Oh damn! I'm doing pretty good.
93% of the winners today have been favorites. It's insane.
I only have one wrong right now.
There you go. My number 1 bracket, I think I have a 2 or 3. What's your one wrong?
Mid Tennessee versus Minnesota. Mid Tennessee upset Minnesota.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, I rank 7.7 millionth in this bracket right here. But it's mostly favorites though.
How do you see that? Where do you see?
You can see that in ESPN, or the ESPN one. But I have one. I'm looking at the favorites bracket. If you picked every favorite so far on Thursday at this point, well, it's 93%. That's insane.
I'm 92%.
The only upset so far at this point was Minnesota got defeated by Middle Tennessee. That was the only game where an upset actually occurred. Every other game so far on Thursday has been straight up. So, it's interesting. March Madness. And check out TrifectaNetworkSports.com. Get all the latest news in sports. You can check out March Madness. We got a March Madness post. We'll be talking about that, talking about the Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Red Sox. A couple more weeks, and we got the season coming up. So thank you for listening.